Let's catch up on the housing and construction stimulus now with the Assistant Treasurer and Housing Minister Michael Sukkar joining us live from Canberra. Good to talk to you again, Michael. All along, since this has been announced, I've been saying your big problem to get people spending money, even with this cash grant, is to get local government approval quickly enough for people to get some money flowing inside 6 months. Now, the reports in The Australian today are suggesting there's tens of billions of dollars hurled up around the country in local government approvals.
Yeah, Chris, you've been on the mark, and we've said every level of government needs to do their bit. Obviously, with the Home Builder program that we've announced, that's going to support hundreds of thousands of jobs in the residential construction industry through $25,000 grants for new homes and substantial rebuilds of homes. State governments, in many cases, have put in place their own grants. They've backed in the federal government's Home Builder program, whether that's Tasmania or Western Australia, with their own additional grants. And you're right, Chris, local government has to step up to the plate and make sure that they are meeting their statutory timeframes, that they're not acting as a blocker to this really important part of the economy. And as the Australian reported today, $19 billion worth of projects are being held up. No doubt some of those for good reason, but I think over a long period of time, people throughout the country have recognised that at a local government level, planning and approval processes are very slow, certainly by international standards. And in the COVID-19 world that we're in now, as I said, every level of government needs to put their shoulder to the wheel. And in the case of local government, it means they've got to work their tails off to get these approvals happening more quickly. Yeah,
people in the industry suggest there'll be a lot of extensions where people have done the planning, maybe even got the approval and are just waiting to get their finances in order. So this might shake a lot of that loose. Hopefully that's the case. But what about medium to longer term? Isn't this a great reform agenda for the federal government? I know you've got to reach down through state government and into local government, but where you've got people around the country wanting to spend money, the idea that you've got this local government level just frustrating and slowing down that spending must really slow down the wheels of this economy.
Yeah, it does, and it doesn't just apply to those established suburbs that you referred to, Chris. Overwhelmingly under the Home Builder program, this will most obviously apply to your typical house and land package in a greenfield estate. The approval processes there can be a problem too. So you're absolutely right. It's an issue that is going to be one that we need to address into the future. Minister Alan Tudge, as Population Minister, through his Population Centre, is tackling some of this, but it will be a multidisciplinary, multi-ministerial task. And I know many of my state colleagues, both Liberal and Labor around the country, are keen to do this as well. And it's one that's been on the agenda for many governments, but it's obviously still a problem.
Now, I just want to show you a clip from the Senate today. Your colleague from Queensland, Gerard Rennick, talking about childcare, and get your thoughts on this. Have a look.
Because at the end of the day, if you can keep a child at home, and if you can keep a parent at home, you're going to halve the congestion on the roads, you're going to halve the pollution, and you're going to increase the quality of life for their young children and the parents. And let me tell you something. Dorothy didn't tap her shoes together and say that there's no place like childcare. She said there's no place like home.
Well, there you go. Gerard Rennick there today, Michael Sukkar. I'm all for choice, but he sounds like he's harking back to a bygone era.
Look, Gerard's a deep thinker and he does think about these things a lot. I suspect, just hearing that for the first time, Chris, that he's probably not far from your point about choice and really what the government's point is, and that is we want to give parents the opportunity to make that choice. And obviously we celebrate as a government things like female participation in the workforce, but at the same time we want to celebrate parents, whether they're mothers or fathers or a combination of both, who are staying home and to some degree doing the most important thing that any parent can do, or any carer, any grandparent, and that is raising the next generation. So I think we are probably in furious agreement with Gerard that choice is the name of the game here. Families have got to have the opportunity to make those decisions, but we should be celebrating not just those parents who do a great job going out to work and providing for their families, but also the parents who stay at home and provide those caring responsibilities. And as I said, the most important job that any parent has is raising their child, because they're the citizens of the future who will continue to ensure Australia is the country it is.
Now, I'm about to talk to Brad Johnson about the AFL getting up and running again tonight. You're a Victorian MP. Who do you follow and how much are you looking forward to it, Michael?
Well, I'm a Geelong supporter, and I must say I am chomping at the bit. Watching old reruns of the 1989 grand final when we lost to Hawthorn, I think I've probably done enough of that over the COVID-19 period. So I'm very keen to see it happen, obviously responsibly and within the framework outlined by National Cabinet. But I think many Australians are very keen to get back to sport, and us Geelong supporters are looking very forward to a premiership in 2020, I can assure you.
Great stuff. Thanks for joining us, Michael. He refers to one of the greatest games of all time, of course, when Geelong lost. I think Ablett kicked 9 goals, didn't he? Maybe 10. And one of the best cartoons I can remember, Gary Ablett walking back to Geelong across Corio Bay, walking on the water.